talk a little bit more about why they're here at AGU.
Thanks, Morgan. Thanks for that introduction. I'm Athena Copenhaver. I'm the Assistant Director for the Study of Environmental Arctic Change, and I'm here with Brendan Kelly.
And I'm the Chief Scientist for the Study of Environmental Arctic Change, where we call it SEARCH for short. And we are here in New Orleans at the American Geophysical Union meeting to learn more about what's happening in the world of geophysics and to share with our scientific and other colleagues what we're doing in the SEARCH program. And I am, yesterday was sort of the first day for us. So we were on stage first thing in the morning and late in the evening. And so that really absorbs a lot of energy. Today is the first day we're more in listening mode, I'd say.
Yes, definitely in listening mode.
And heard some really interesting and actually uplifting talks, and particularly in the plenary. And I was really struck. You came away with a comment.
Yes, it was after the Science Communications.
That's right.
Plenary that, I don't know if it was a plenary, it was more like a panel discussion, and something that really struck me was the leader of this discussion was talking about how he works in disaster management, disaster planning, and making sure that people have communications and strategies in place to respond in time to these disasters. And he said something really fascinating. He said, my work is important because if I don't communicate effectively, people's lives are at risk. They don't have an opportunity to sort of say, oh, that didn't work so well, let's try again next time. I mean, of course we have to iterate and improve, but then I came back to you and we had a conversation about how all of us here at AGU are recognizing that we're kind of facing down this global crisis, this climate change crisis, and we're particularly seeing those effects in the Arctic, of course, where everything is exacerbated.
So if we don't communicate what we know well, people will die also, maybe not as immediately, and the planet might die for that matter.
Sure, yeah, it's just this kind of, it's an imperative that we communicate in a really effective way and with diverse audiences across cultures, across disciplines, so that we can face this crisis appropriately. But I mean, it was fascinating in this discussion because they're talking about county level disaster planning, but the same principle applies the world over. That
that's really good. So we're working at the Pan-Arctic scale.
Correct.
But in a way, we're preparing for disaster. At the same time, we both heard the President's Science Advisor speak earlier today, and he did I thought a really remarkable job of describing that we are in a global crisis and we need everyone involved in responding to that. And so he was able to, without sugarcoating it, just point out the power we have collectively to respond to this. And that, I have to say, worked for me. I mean, I sort of felt like, okay, that's what we're doing in our program. We are convening experts. So, he was making an appeal to the science community to step up to this moment and share what we know and to be able to inform decision making. And I agree completely, but I would also add, it's not just the science community, it's also the indigenous knowledge holders. And this has been a very exciting aspect of our new phase of the SEARCH program, is that we've co-designed this new phase of our work with indigenous co-principal investigators. And we're now, and part of our reason for being here is recruiting scientific, indigenous, and decision-making experts to join into our attempt to synthesize a whole system understanding, if you will, if I can put it that way. But we also want to make it accessible. You want to talk a little bit about how that works?
Yeah, it's not just enough to bring people together across disciplines, across ways of knowing. We also need to create knowledge, new knowledge together, and then be able to share it with diverse audiences and with the people who need it most, whether that's communities who live on the coast in the Arctic, whether that's landlocked states in the lower 48. It's making sure that this information that we are able to bring together is disseminated across disciplines and communities.
You mean like in peer-reviewed articles?
Well, that's one way. That's one way, and that's a really important, aspect of the communication process. But it is part of the communication process. It's not enough to stop there. It's not enough to just publish scientific studies. Then we need to translate them, make them accessible and digestible to the people who need them.
Like
and I think
social media?
Social media is
podcasts?
definitely one audience. Yes, absolutely.
Popular articles? I mean,
yes.
Film?
Yeah.
Any
Yes, all,
Okay. Yeah.
all and every. And I think as we were saying yesterday in our town hall, we're at the very beginning of this collaboration, this new co-designed collaboration, and we don't really know what the next 5 years are going to bring. We have an idea of where we want to go, but we're excited to see what will actually come out of this synthesis of knowledge.
Yeah, and we did get this question in our town hall, as you say, about, so what are these other venues in which you're going to put out your understanding? It was important to share with people, as you just pointed out, that this is could be a co-produced product. That means we have to have assembled our teams and get some focus on the areas we want to focus on, but not get ahead of them by saying, okay, we're going to produce the following products on the following schedule. And that's a bit different. Most of us in science are kind of used to like planning it out in considerable detail. Funding agencies, if you tell them, well, we're going to kind of do something like this, but just trust us, that doesn't review very well. Yeah. So it was a bit tricky to describe this in a proposal, which thank goodness was successful, in a way that wasn't saying just trust us, but wasn't getting ahead of our as yet to be assembled teams. I give just give the National Science Foundation a lot of credit for taking the gamble and spending the money on us.
Yeah. Well, and that's why we're here, really, is to make good on that proposal that we put forth and that was approved and that has been funded by the National Science Foundation, and to recruit people to join us. That's really, I think, what we're doing here.
And I think one of the things that's tricky about this recruitment is we know how to recruit scientists to these sort of endeavors, but it's a different thing to try to recruit people who have a lot of expertise but don't come to meetings like this. They live in small communities around the Arctic, and people like that may very well say, well, what would I have to contribute? And I know they have a lot to contribute because I've spent a lot of time in their boats and in their hunting camps, and I understand how deep their knowledge of the Arctic is. But I have to remember that, this is kind of a foreign environment to them. So we have to be patient and figure out ways. So tomorrow, one of the things you and I need to talk about before dinner time tonight is tomorrow I have a Zoom call with the Eskimo Walrus Commission in Alaska, and that's about recruiting them, then experts that they might nominate to participate. And I have to kind of really shift gears and think about, we've gotten so far as we're not doing PowerPoint, we know that.
No PowerPoint tomorrow.
We're leading probably with story, but beyond that we need to flesh that out a little bit, and I kind of count on your help. I mean, one of the terrific things about having invited Athena into this program is she has a tremendous history herding scientific talent, providing kind of not just logistical support, but kind of support in everything they do, but also in communications. She's really, really a skilled writer and editor, and that's really valuable to what we're trying to do.
I'm excited to direct that energy to this collaboration for sure.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun to tailor that messaging and tailor the approach to all the different audiences that we need to engage with. And really, it's about building relationship ultimately. So that's where we're headed. Yeah,
I'm really glad you said that, because as you know from our previous conversations, I often react to the word messaging because that's good if you're advocating a policy or a position, you want to hone your message. But it's a little bit different if you're creating knowledge and then just trying to share it and let somebody else decide what they're going to do with it. then it's not exactly messaging. I know that's, but what you just said about relationship building, that's really important. If we are going to try to figure out what is the most useful relationship between Indigenous knowledge and science in informing decision making, then it demands that kind of relationship building that you just mentioned, and hence the call tomorrow with the Walrus Commission.
That's gonna be great.
Thank you guys so much for talking with me today, and thank you for all the work you guys do. It's
Thank you.
exciting to see what's going to happen.
We are excited too.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Yeah,
for your
thanks so
interest.
much.